Hello guys, welcome to CloudRaga. So we were talking about Spring Container now. So what is Spring Container? So Spring Container is present at the core of Spring Framework. So Spring Framework is kind of a big thing, and at the core, you can say it's the heart of Spring Framework. That is Spring Container. What does it do? The container will create the object, will wire them together, will configure these objects, and manages their complete life cycle till these objects get or we do this manually or by automatically till destruction. So till destruction, container will take care of all the object stuffs. So either you are creating an object or initializing the fields, combining them through like it could be a has a relationship or is a relationship to wire them together. If we have two different objects, configuration level, it could be XML annotation that will be also taken care by the Spring container, and then this takes care of everything of objects. So that's the real thing. Spring Container will manage the all life cycle of the Java objects. And how do it like perform all this operation? Through DI. So to manage the component, because there are lots of moving components out there in the Spring project, someone has to maintain that. So Spring Container do that. And once your Spring objects, your Java objects are handled by Spring, we call them Spring Beans. So that simple Java class, that Pojo class now becomes a bean because Spring Container is handling it. So the Spring Bean is a Spring Framework term. So in core Java we call this Pojo class. In Spring Framework we call this Beans classes. So more or less it's same, a class with private fields and public getter setter. So that's the Pojo class. So if you use that class in Spring Framework and Spring Container use that either XML or annotation based configuration, that simple Pojo class becomes Spring Beans. Okay, what does it do? Again, more thing about it. So Spring Container gets its instruction to instantiate, configure, and assemble all the configuration metadata. Okay, what is the metadata? That is a XML file. If you want to configure your Spring project through XML, so we can call that's a project configuration metadata or just a XML configuration file. Of course, metadata can be provided by using annotations as well or simple Java code. Of course, you have to write some more code, but yeah, that is also possible. You just have to give some metadata about that object you are going to create through Spring Container, and that object will be now known as Spring Beans. So either way, you will configure Spring for a project to achieve that instantiation, to achieve Spring Container. So in this diagram, you can see Pojo class is going down to the Spring Container, and Spring Container uses some information from metadata. Again, that could be XML file or annotation-based configuration. Once these two gets combined, Spring Container takes the data and makes your application ready with that bean class. So initially we send Pojo class, Spring Container converts to into a bean because now it will maintain its life cycle. So that's the working of Spring Container. In next video, we will see how to achieve the reference of Spring Container or what kind of classes or interfaces are there which can give us a feature of Spring Container. So again, this whole thing, whatever we have done so far in this series, it was all about theoretical knowledge. In next video, we are going to step into the library of Spring Framework. So we will see Java classes and interfaces and to achieve Spring Container feature. So that's it for now, and let's meet in next video. Bye bye everyone.